The morning sun cast long shadows across the Rocky Mountain wilderness as Katie Morrison checked her gear one last time. She pulled the straps on her backpack tight and looked at the group of men in expensive suits standing around her. They all looked uncomfortable in their new hiking boots and outdoor clothes. "Listen up," Katie said, her voice carrying across the small clearing. "You paid good money to learn how to survive out here. I'm going to teach you, but you need to follow my rules. First rule, do what I say, when I say it. This mountain doesn't care about your job title or your bank account." Jake Rader, a big man with gray hair and scars on his hands, smiled at her tough talk. The other executives shifted nervously. They had come here because their company wanted team building, but most of them wished they were back in their air-conditioned offices. Katie was 19 years old, but had been living in these mountains her whole life. Her father had been in the military and taught her everything about survival before he died in a car crash 2 years ago. She knew every trail, every dangerous spot, and every way to stay alive when things went wrong. "We're going to hike up to Eagle's Peak," Katie continued. "It's a 3-day trip. We'll learn how to find water, make fire, build shelter, and find food. By the end, you'll understand what it really means to depend on yourself." The group started walking up the narrow trail. Katie moved easily over the rocks and roots while the businessmen stumbled and complained about the weight of their packs. Jake kept up better than the others. He had been in the military too, long ago. "You know what you're doing, kid?" Jake said when he caught up to Katie at the front of the group. "Don't call me kid," Katie replied without looking at him. "And this isn't about knowing things. It's about doing them when your life depends on it." They climbed for 4 hours before Katie called for a rest. She showed them how to filter water from a stream and how to read the signs that told them a storm was coming. The men were tired and sweaty, but they were starting to listen to her seriously. That evening, as they sat around their campfire eating simple food, Katie noticed strange lights in the sky. At first, she thought they were airplanes, but they moved wrong. They came down too fast and made no sound. "What is that?" asked one of the executives, pointing up at the bright objects. Katie stood up and studied the lights. They were getting bigger and coming straight toward their camp. She had never seen anything like it, but her training kicked in. When something unknown appeared, you got ready for trouble. "Everyone stay calm," she said. "Get behind those rocks, over there. Now." The lights landed in the clearing about 50 yards away. What came out was not human. The thing was tall and thin, with long arms and a face that looked almost like a person, but wrong, in ways that made Katie's skin crawl. Its skin was pale blue and seemed to glow slightly in the darkness. The creature walked toward them slowly. It held up one hand and made sounds that turned into words through some kind of device on its chest. "Greetings. I am Dr. Zeftar of the Galactic Federation. We come in peace to make contact with your species." Katie stepped out from behind the rocks, keeping her body ready to move. The alien was bigger than her, maybe 7 feet tall, but it moved like it wasn't used to Earth's gravity. "Stay where you are," Katie called out. "We can talk from here." But the alien kept walking toward her. It seemed excited and spoke faster. "This is wonderful. First contact with a new species. Our records show this is a dangerous world, but you have survived and built a civilization. This is a great day for peace in the galaxy." Dr. Zeftar reached out his long, thin hand toward Katie's shoulder. On his world, touching someone was how you showed respect and friendship. He had studied human transmissions but didn't understand that humans had different rules about touching. Katie saw the alien hand coming toward her and reacted the way her father had taught her. The way anyone from Earth would react when a stranger tried to grab them. She moved fast. She caught the alien's wrist, twisted her body, and used his forward motion against him. Dr. Zeftar flew through the air and crashed into a large pine tree. There was a sound like breaking glass as parts of his breathing device shattered. He made a high-pitched noise and fell to the ground. The other men stared in shock. Katie stood over the alien, ready to fight more if she needed to. Jake Rader looked at the young woman who had just thrown a 7-foot alien like he was made of paper. A slow smile spread across his face. "Well, I'll be damned," Jake said. "Kid just dropped ET like a bad habit." Katie ignored him. She kept watching the alien who was trying to breathe through his broken equipment. She felt bad that he was hurt, but she wasn't sorry for defending herself. Nobody touched her without permission. Not humans, and certainly not aliens. The creature's ship began making loud warning sounds. More lights appeared in the sky. The new ships that came down were bigger and darker than the first one. They landed around the camp like they were surrounding it. Katie grabbed her rifle from her pack and told the businessmen to get back behind the rocks. "This is not good," Jake said, pulling out a pistol he had hidden in his jacket. "Put that away," Katie snapped. "We don't know what those things can do, and we just hurt one of them." More aliens came out of the ships. These ones looked different from Dr. Zeftar. They were shorter but thicker, with dark red skin and what looked like armor covering their bodies. They moved like soldiers, not scientists. The leader stepped forward. When it spoke, its voice was deep and angry. "I am Commander Velnari of Federation Security. You have attacked our diplomat. Surrender the one who did this." Katie stepped out, from behind the rocks with her hands visible but ready. "I'm right here, and I didn't attack anyone. He tried to grab me without permission." Commander Velnari looked at her like she was an insect. Dr. Zeftar followed proper first contact protocols. Physical contact shows peaceful intent in civilized species. "Maybe where you come from," Katie said. "Here on Earth, you ask before you touch someone, especially someone you don't know." The alien commander made a sound that might have been laughing. "Earth? Yes, we have read about your world in our files. A Class 12 Deathworld. We should have expected violence from creatures that live in such conditions." Katie didn't like the way he said that. "We're not creatures. We're people, and we have rules about how people treat each other." More aliens had arrived and were working on Dr. Zeftar. They put him on some kind of floating stretcher and carried him toward one of the ships. Katie could see that he was breathing, but he looked hurt bad. "Your rules do not matter," Commander Velnari said. "You have harmed a Federation diplomat. This planet will be quarantined until we decide what to do with your species." "You can't do that," Jake said, stepping up next to Katie. "This is our world." Commander Velnari looked at Jake like he was something stuck on his shoe. "Your world is primitive. You have barely reached your own moon. The Federation has maintained peace in this galaxy for 10,000 years. We do not allow violent species to threaten that peace." Katie felt her anger building. These aliens came to her world. One of them tried to grab her, and now they were treating humans like they were the bad ones. "We're not violent, we defend ourselves. There's a difference." "Is there?" the commander asked. "Our files show that your species fights constant wars. You kill your own kind over resources, territory, and beliefs. You have weapons that could destroy your entire world. How is this not a violent species?" Jake laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "You think we're bad? You should see what this planet throws at us every day. Hurricanes, earthquakes, blizzards, floods, animals that want to eat us, diseases that kill us. We fight because we have to. It's how we stay alive." Commander Velnari studied them both. "Yes, the Deathworld classification is accurate. Most civilized species could not survive on such a planet. But that does not excuse violence toward peaceful beings." "Peaceful?" Katie couldn't believe what she was hearing. "He tried to grab me. Where I come from, when someone grabs you without asking, bad things are about to happen. I stopped him before he could hurt me. That's not violence. That's survival." "The ID," alien commander was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke to the other aliens in a language that sounded like music mixed with static. They talked back and forth for several minutes. Finally, he turned back to Katie. "We have decided. You will come with us to answer for your actions. The rest of your species will remain on this world until the Federation Council decides what to do with you." "Like hell," Jake said, raising his pistol. Katie put her hand on his arm. "Don't. Look at their weapons." Jake looked and saw that every alien soldier had some kind of energy weapon pointed at them. The weapons hummed with power and looked like they could turn a person to ash. "Smart," Commander Velnari said. "Perhaps your species can learn. You will come with us voluntarily, or we will take you by force." Katie looked at the scared businessmen, hiding behind the rocks. She looked at Jake, who was ready to fight even though he couldn't win. She thought about what would happen to Earth if she said no. "I'll go," she said. "But I want something in return." The commander tilted his head. "You are not in a position to make demands." "Maybe not. But I want you to know that what I did wasn't wrong by human standards. If you're going to judge my whole species, you should understand our side of the story." Commander Velnari considered this. "Very well. You may explain your actions to the Federation Council. But know this. If they find your species too dangerous, Earth will be sealed forever. No one will be allowed to leave or enter." Katie nodded. "I understand." As the aliens prepared to take her away, Jake grabbed her arm. "Kid, you don't have to do this. Let them try to take you. We'll fight." Katie looked at the older man. "With what?" "They have weapons we can't even understand. Ships that travel between stars. If I don't go with them, they'll probably kill all of us and then decide Earth is too dangerous anyway. So what are you going to do?" Katie smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had grown up on a world that tried to kill her every day and was still alive. "I'm going to show them what humans are really like. Maybe they'll understand that we're not monsters, we're just survivors." The alien ship rose into the night sky with Katie inside it. Jake watched until it disappeared among the stars. Then, he took out his satellite phone and started making calls. The world needed to know what had happened in the mountains of Colorado. The Federation Council chamber was huge and filled with aliens that Katie had never imagined could exist. Some looked like plants that could walk and talk. Others were made of what seemed like living crystal that sang when they moved. A few looked almost human, but with extra arms or eyes in strange places. Katie sat in what they called the defendant's chair, which was too big for her human body. She wore simple clothes they had given her because her camping gear wasn't considered appropriate for a formal hearing. Commander Velnari stood nearby with other security officers, all watching her like she might explode at any moment. The head of the council was a creature that looked like a huge jellyfish floating in a tank of water. When it spoke, its voice came through translators around the room. "We are here to determine if the species called humans pose a threat to galactic peace. The defendant will explain her actions." Katie stood up, trying not to show how nervous she felt. "My name is Katie Morrison. I'm 19 years old and I live on Earth. 3 days ago, an alien touched me without permission. I stopped him. That's all I did." A bird-like alien with bright blue feathers spoke up. "You used violence against a peaceful diplomat. Dr. Zeftar was following proper protocols for first contact." "Your protocols," Katie said. "Not ours. On Earth, if a stranger tries to grab you, it usually means they want to hurt you or take you somewhere you don't want to go. I protected myself." A creature made of living rock rumbled when it talked. But Dr. Zeftar meant no harm. He was showing respect in the manner of his people. Katie nodded. "I understand that now. But he didn't ask first. He didn't explain what he was doing. How was I supposed to know his intentions?" The jellyfish leader floated closer to her. "This is the problem with your species. You assume the worst about others. Civilized beings trust first and verify later." "That's easy to say when you live on safe worlds," Katie replied. "But Earth isn't safe. Nothing on Earth is safe. We have storms that can level entire cities, animals that hunt us, diseases that kill millions, plants that are poisonous to touch. Even our water can be dangerous if it's not clean." She took a breath and continued. "We don't assume the worst about others because we're mean. We do it because on Earth the thing that looks harmless can kill you. The person who seems friendly might not be. We stay alive by being careful." Commander Velnari stepped forward. "The Council should know that we have studied this planet called Earth. It is classified as a Class 12 death world. Most life forms in the galaxy could not survive there for even one day." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many of the Council members had never heard of a Class 12 world with intelligent life on it. A tall, thin alien with silver skin spoke next. "Please explain what makes this world so dangerous." Katie looked around the room at all the strange faces watching her. "Where do I start? The gravity on Earth is 3 times stronger than most of your worlds. That means everything weighs more." and falls harder. Our air has oxygen in it, which I'm told is poisonous to many of you. We have weather that changes fast and can kill you if you're not ready for it. She pointed to Commander Velnari. He called us violent because we fight wars, but we also fight earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, droughts, ice ages, and asteroid impacts. We fight diseases that could wipe out our entire species. We fight predators that see us as food. The rock creature leaned forward. How do your people survive in such conditions? We adapt, Katie said simply. We learn. We get stronger. We work together when we have to, and we fight when fighting is the only way to stay alive. Every human child grows up knowing that the world is dangerous and that they have to be ready for anything. A plant-like alien that looked like a walking tree spoke in a voice like wind through leaves. This explains your physical capabilities. When Dr. Zeftar was injured, our medical team was surprised that such a small being could harm someone. Much larger. Katie almost smiled. I'm not small for a human, I'm average. And Dr. Zeftar might be tall, but he's not built for Earth gravity. His bones are hollow like a bird's. His muscles are designed for a world where everything weighs less. Put any human against any of you in a physical contest and we'll probably win. Not because we're better, but because we're built for a harder world. The jellyfish leader pulsed with different colors as it thought. So you claim that humans are not naturally violent but naturally defensive? We're both, Katie admitted. When someone threatens us, we fight back hard and fast. When someone we care about is in danger, we'll do anything to protect them. But we can also be gentle, kind, and peaceful. We choose when to fight and when not to fight. Commander Velnari looked skeptical. Your planet's history shows constant warfare between your own people. Katie nodded sadly. Yes, we fight each other sometimes, usually over resources or land because Earth doesn't give us enough of either easily. But we also help each other. When disasters hit, humans from all over the world send aid. When one group is in trouble, others risk their lives to save them. We're complicated. An alien that looked like a collection of floating crystals chimed like bells when it spoke. The question is whether humans can exist peacefully alongside other species in the galactic community. I think we can, Katie said. But you have to understand us first. We're not going to change who we are just to make you comfortable. Earth made us this way over millions of years. It's not something we can just turn off. The bird-like alien ruffled its feathers. What if other species find human behavior threatening? Katie thought about that for a moment. Then maybe those species need to learn about Earth too. Maybe they need to understand that sometimes being ready to fight is what keeps the peace. We have a saying on Earth, speak softly and carry a big stick. It means be polite, but make sure people know you can defend yourself if you have to. The council talked among themselves in languages Katie couldn't understand even with the translators. She waited, trying not to show how worried she was. The decision they made here would affect not just her, but every human who would ever live. Finally, the jellyfish leader spoke again. We have decided that the human species presents a unique case. You are clearly intelligent and capable of reason, but you are also shaped by conditions that most civilized worlds have never experienced. Katie held her breath. We will not quarantine Earth, the leader continued. Instead, we propose a test. If humans can prove they can control their defensive instincts when necessary, we will consider them for Federation membership. If not, we will limit contact to scientific exchanges only. The tests took place on 3 different worlds, each one designed to challenge humans in a different way. Katie would represent all of humanity. If she failed, Earth would be cut off from the galactic community forever. The first test was on Aquatica, a world covered entirely by oceans. The beings there looked like dolphins but with arms and hands. They lived in floating cities that moved with the tides and communicated by changing the colors of their skin. Katie had to negotiate a trade agreement between 2 groups of the water people who had been arguing for decades. The problem was that they considered direct speech to be rude. Everything had to be said through color patterns and body movements. This is impossible, Katie muttered to herself as she floated in the warm alien sea. She had been trying for 3 dazed to understand the complex light show that the two groups used to talk to each other. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a human scientist who had been brought along to help, swam up next to her. The key is to think of it like a dance instead of a conversation. They're not just communicating facts, they're sharing emotions and intentions. Katie watched the water people more carefully. When they were angry, their colors were sharp and bright. When they were sad, the colors were soft and flowing. When they wanted to make peace, they created patterns that moved in slow circles. It took her another 2 days, but Katie finally figured out how to speak with light and movement. She created a pattern that meant new understanding and combined it with movements that showed respect for both groups. The water people were so surprised that a land creature could learn their language that they forgot what they were fighting about. The second test was on resonance, a world made entirely of singing crystals. The people there were beings of living, sound who could be hurt by the wrong kind of noise. Human brains created electrical patterns that sounded like screaming to them. "Every time you think it hurts us," explained the crystal being that was Katie's teacher. Its voice was like a perfect musical note. "Your species creates chaos in the harmony of thought." Katie had to learn to control her mind completely. She spent hours in meditation, trying to quiet the constant stream of thoughts that humans normally had. It was one of the hardest things she had ever done. "Think of one thing only," the crystal teacher said. "Let all other thoughts fade away like echoes." Katie focused on a memory of her father teaching her to fish in a quiet mountain lake. She held on to that single image and let everything else disappear. Slowly, the crystal being stopped wincing when she was near them. "Better," the teacher said. "You are learning that thoughts can be controlled, just like actions." The crystal people tested her by having her sit in their great hall, where 1,000 of them sang together in perfect harmony. If Katie lost control of her thoughts even for a moment, the discord would be heard by everyone. She sat there for 6 hours, keeping her mind perfectly calm while beautiful music filled the air around her. The third and hardest test was on New Serenity, Dr. Zeftar's homeworld. The tall, pale aliens there shared emotions the way humans shared words. They could feel what others felt and thought it was natural to touch and be touched freely. Dr. Zeftar met Katie at the spaceport. His injuries had healed, but he still walked carefully. "I volunteered to work with you," he said through his translator. "I want to understand why what I did was wrong." Katie felt bad seeing him hurt. "I'm sorry I had to hurt you, but I'm not sorry for stopping you from touching me without permission." Dr. Zeftar tilted his head in confusion. "But touch is how we show trust and friendship. To refuse touch is to refuse connection with others." "Not for humans," Katie explained. "Touch means different things to us. It can mean love or comfort or violence or control. We have to choose when and how we touch each other." The test on New Serenity was for Katie to participate in a ceremony where the aliens shared their deepest emotions with each other. She had to find a way to connect with them without giving up her right to emotional privacy. Dr. Zeftar worked with her for days trying to understand human boundaries. "Your people are like islands," he said. "Each one separate from the others." "Not separate," Katie corrected. "Independent. We choose who we let close to us and how close we let them come." Katie came up with a solution that surprised everyone. Instead of sharing her emotions directly, she created a story about a human child learning to trust others after being hurt. The story let the aliens feel what she felt without forcing her to open her mind completely. "This is beautiful," Dr. Zeftar said when she finished. "You have found a way to share connection while keeping boundaries. I think I understand now why you stopped me that day." While Katie was taking her tests, Jake Rader was busy back on Earth. He had become famous for being there when first contact happened, and he used that fame to tell the world about Katie's mission. "That girl is up there fighting for all of us," he said on television interviews. "She's showing them that humans aren't monsters. We're just people who learn to be tough because our world is tough." Jake organized support groups for Katie across Earth. People held vigils and sent messages of encouragement that were broadcast to the alien worlds where she was being tested. Children drew pictures of her meeting friendly aliens. Adults wrote letters thanking her for representing humanity. "She's not just taking tests," Jake told a reporter. She's building bridges between us and species we never imagined could exist. And she's doing it all while staying true to what makes us human. On the final day of testing, Katie stood before the Federation Council again. This time, representatives from all 3 test worlds were there to speak about her performance. The water person's skin showed patterns of blue and gold as it spoke. The human learned our ways while teaching us hers. She showed us that communication can have many forms. The crystal being's voice rang like a perfect bell. She proved that even chaotic minds can find harmony when they choose to. Her discipline was remarkable. Dr. Zeftar spoke last. I have learned much from working with Katie Morrison. Humans are not violent by choice, but defensive by necessity. They value independence not because they reject others, but because they understand the importance of consent in all relationships. The jellyfish leader pulsed with thoughtful colors. You have passed all tests, but not in the way we expected. Instead of changing yourself to fit our ways, you found ways to honor both human nature and alien customs. This shows wisdom. Katie felt a wave of relief wash over her. Thank you for giving humanity a chance to prove itself. The chance was always yours, the leader replied. We simply needed to understand that there are many ways to live peacefully in the galaxy. Your species brings something new to our community. The strength that comes from surviving the impossible. 6 months after Katie passed the Federation tests, strange ships began attacking colonies on the edge of galactic space. The raiders were unlike anything the Federation had ever seen. They used fear as a weapon, striking without warning and leaving destruction behind them. Katie was on Earth, training new human diplomats in the same mountains where she had first met Dr. Zeftar when the emergency call came through. The Federation needed help. Commander Velnari appeared on the communication screen, his red skin darker than usual with worry. The raiders have hit 12 colonies in the past month. Our standard defenses are useless against them. They seem to understand warfare in ways we do not. Katie studied the footage of the attacks that Velnari showed her. The raiders moved fast and hit hard using tactics that reminded her of Earth's military strategies. They fight like humans, she said. That is why we need you, Velnari admitted. The Federation Council has authorized the formation of a joint defense force. We want you to lead it. Katie looked around at her trainees, young humans who had volunteered to be Earth's ambassadors to the galaxy. I'm not a soldier. I'm a survival instructor. On most worlds, there is no difference between those skills, Velnari replied. Your people understand conflict in ways we have never needed to learn. Jake Rader stepped out from behind a tree where he had been listening. Over the months since first contact, he had become Katie's unofficial advisor and Earth's liaison with the human media. Kids right to be careful, Jake said. But if these raiders are as bad as you say, maybe it's time to show the galaxy what humans can really do. Dr. Elena Rodriguez joined them from the communication station where she had been monitoring galactic news. The attacks are getting worse. The last colony they hit had over 1 million people. There are no survivors. Katie felt the familiar weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. Just like that day in the mountains when she had chosen to go with the Federation rather than let Earth be quarantined, she was being asked to speak for all humanity again. What kind of ships can you give us? She asked Velnari. The best we have. Fast cruisers with powerful shields and energy weapons. We can also provide troops from species that are willing to fight. Katie shook her head. No mixed crews for the first mission. I need people who think like I do, who understand Earth tactics. Give me a ship and fill it with humans. 3 weeks later, Katie stood on the bridge of the FSS Unity. A Federation cruiser operated entirely by human crew members. Her team included former military officers, police detectives, and even some reformed criminals who understood how raiders thought. Jake Rader had insisted on coming along as her strategic advisor. You're going to need someone who's seen the dark side of human nature, he had told her. These raiders might be aliens, but if they fight like us, they probably think like us too. Their destination was Haven's Rest, a peaceful colony world that intelligence reports said would be the raiders' next target. The planet was home to 3 million civilians who had never experienced warfare. Sir, We have multiple contacts coming, out of hyperspace, reported Lieutenant Amy Foster from the sensor station. Katie looked at the tactical display. 15 raider ships were dropping into the system, moving in a formation that would let them hit the planet from multiple directions. Just like we predicted, Katie said. Jake, you were right about their pattern. Jake studied the enemy movements. They're going to hit the main cities first, cause panic, then sweep up the refugees. Classic terror tactics. Katie opened a channel to the raider fleet. Attention raider vessels. This is Katie Morrison of the Federation Defense Force. You are ordered to leave this system immediately. The response came back in heavily accented English. Morrison? The Deathworld girl who threw Zeftar around like a toy? We heard about you. I am Captain Rex Hunter, formerly of the Earth colony ship Defiance. We left your precious planet behind long ago. Katie's blood went cold. The raiders were humans. Humans who had somehow left Earth and chosen to become predators among the stars. You're attacking innocent people, Rex. These colonies never did anything to you. Rex's laugh was cold and bitter. Innocent? These soft aliens have been living in paradise while Earth struggled to survive. They have resources we need and technology we want. Why should we ask nicely when we can just take it? Because that's not who we are, Katie replied. Humans protect people. We don't prey on them. Speak for yourself, girl. Out here in the dark, we learned that the strong take what they want and the weak suffer, just like Earth taught us. The raider ships opened fire on the planet's orbital stations. Katie watched Federation civilians die and felt something cold and hard settle in her chest. All ships, this is Katie Morrison. We are going to stop these raiders here and now. They may be human, but they have forgotten what that means. The battle was unlike anything the Federation had ever seen. Both sides used Earth tactics, quick strikes, unpredictable movements, and ruthless efficiency. But Katie's crew had something Rex's raiders didn't. They were fighting to protect people, not to hurt them. Katie's ship darted between the larger raider vessels, targeting their weapons and engines instead of trying to destroy them completely. Her crew worked with the precision of people who had trained together for months. Their shields are down, reported Lieutenant Foster. Good. Target their communication array. I want to talk to Rex without his crew listening. When the private channel opened, Katie's voice was calm but deadly serious. Rex, this ends now. Surrender and we'll make sure you and your people are treated fairly. You think you can beat us? Rex snarled. We've been raiders for 10 years. We know every dirty trick there is. Maybe, Katie said. But we know something. You forgot. We know why humans fight. Katie's ship suddenly accelerated straight at Rex's flagship. The raider captain expected her to veer off at the last second, but Katie held course until collision seemed certain. At the very last moment, she rolled her ship underneath Rex's, firing at point-blank range into his unshielded engines. Rex's ship went dead in space. The other raider vessels, seeing their leader defeated, began to scatter. Let them go, Katie ordered when her crew wanted to pursue. Jake looked at her in surprise. Let them go? They'll just attack somewhere else. Katie nodded sadly. Maybe. But they're still human. Maybe some of them will remember that they don't have to be monsters. Over. The ship's communication system. She broadcast a message to all the fleeing raiders. To any human out there who's forgotten what home means, Earth is still here. The Federation has accepted us as members. You can come back. You can choose to be better than what the galaxy made you. Most of the raider ships jumped away into hyperspace. But 2 of them stopped and turned back toward Katie's fleet. The rescue of Haven's Rest became famous throughout Federation space. For the first time, someone had defeated the mysterious raiders who had been terrorizing the outer colonies. More importantly, they had done it without becoming like the enemy they fought. Dr. Zeftar met Katie when her ship returned to Federation space. You could have destroyed them all, he said. Your tactics were clearly superior. Why did you show mercy? Katie looked out at the stars through the ship's viewing port. Because that's what makes us different from them. Rex and his raiders let the galaxy turn them into predators, but humans at our best are protectors. Commander Velnari was waiting for them at Federation headquarters. The red-skinned alien had worked closely with humans over the past months and was beginning to understand them better. "The Council wants to offer you a permanent position as head of Federation Defense," he told Katie. Katie shook her head. "I'm honored, but no. I want to go home to Earth. I want to teach more humans how to be diplomats and defenders, not conquerors. And the raiders who surrendered? Send them home too if they want to go. Let them remember what Earth taught us about, protecting the people we care about." Jake Rader clapped Katie on the shoulder. "You did good, kid. You showed the galaxy that humans can be trusted with power because we know when not to use it." Katie returned to the Rocky Mountains where her story had begun. She established a training center where humans learned to work with alien species while staying true to human values. Students came from all over Earth to learn from the girl who had split an alien and then taught the galaxy what humanity really meant. Dr. Zeftar visited often, bringing students from his own world to learn about Deathworld cultures. He had become one of Katie's closest friends and biggest supporters in the Federation. "You changed everything," he told her during one visit, "not just for humans, but for all of us. You showed us that diversity makes us stronger, not weaker." Katie looked out over the mountains that had raised her, where the trees grew strong because they had learned to bend in the wind and where the people grew wise because they had learned to survive in a world that offered no easy answers. "I just did what anyone from Earth would do," she said. "I protected my family, all of them, even the ones who live on other worlds now." The story of the Deathworld girl who split an alien before a raider smiled became legend among the stars. But Katie Morrison never forgot that she was just a survival instructor from Colorado who had learned that sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when to fight and when to show mercy.